studio set we see inside Nora's kitchen for the first time. It's at the back of her home. She is in the backyard and Compo goes out of the back door to pester her. However, there are no windows or a door at the back of Nora's real home, as the back wall is shared with the back wall of the properties behind it. Foggy refers to himself as W.C. Dewhurst. However, in the prequel, first of the Summer Wine episode, not the Mrs., the young Foggy is called Graham by his mother, not Walter. The person washing the car outside Sid's Cafe in this episode is apparently Gordon Warmby, before he joined the cast as Wesley Pegden. In the opening scene, Compo announces Nigel Hinchcliffe's nose has turned septic. This was a rare inclusion by Roy Clark of the name of a real Holmfirth resident, the owner of a newsagent and emporium. Nigel and his wife, ceramic artist Jenny Hinchcliffe, were on good terms with the cast. In a studio shot, Nora is seen looking out of a window partially obscured by her front steps, as we see the shoes of Wally, Clegg and Foggy, followed by Compo's flippers, walk down as they talk. But her basement window is not obscured on location. She then opens a door to Compo. Again, this does not exist in the real location. This was Bill Owen's favourite episode and was broadcast by the BBC as a tribute on the 13th of July 1999, the day after Bill passed away. In the cafe there is a poster for an Xmas flower extravaganza, including the name Brian Batty. Apparently the surname Batty is common in the area, but so far no one has been able to confirm if this was a real poster from Holmfirth or something the BBC art department created for the show. The Eden Garage, West Auckland, the coach firm that originally owned the bus seen in this episode, also provided buses for several episodes of the ITV detective drama Vera. The original broadcast of this episode had ratings of 15.95 million viewers, making it the BBC's 5th most watched programme of the year. This episode shows the first time since the pilot that Compo pours his tea into his saucer to drink it. The exterior and interior of the Will's O Nats pub seen in this episode were also used in Series 2 of the BBC drama Happy Valley, first broadcast in 2016. This episode is the first time we see Wally and Nora out for a ride with the motorbike and sidecar. Unfortunately, after Clegg has fallen out of Ludovic's van, you can see the remote steering rig connected to the steering column to drive the van. The title, Getting Sam Home, is not given on screen but is used in television listings and reference books. It was the first sitcom spin-off film made in-house by the BBC. As this episode was made as a film, there's no laughter track from a studio screening. The conversation about who is steering as the trio ride down the hill on one bicycle is dubbed from the Series 6 episode A Bicycle Made for Three. The character Norris Fairbairn, played by David Williams, appears in this episode. Then he reprises his role in Will Stella Find True Love with Norris Fairbairn 26 years later in Series 30. Compo finds a pair of Lily Blesser's black tights, saying, "I'd like to talk Nora Batty into these." Sadly, his reaction when he did eventually see Nora in black tights was not so positive. At least, like Sam, he died with a smile on his face. The real cafe is used in Getting Sam Home. The door to next door is blocked off, and there is a part of a doorway visible from the counter direction in the corner opposite the entrance door. John Comer made his last appearance in this episode. Illness caused by cancer affected his speech, and so his lines were dubbed over by actor Tony Melody. 20 years later, Tony Melody appeared in his own right as a pub landlord in the Series 24 episode The Second Husband and the Showgirls, in his final TV performance. This is the second occasion that the title music has lyrics, sung this time by the Mike Sam's Singers. You might not be familiar with the Mike Sam's Singers, but you've almost certainly heard them sing before. They provided backing vocals for many artists, including Olivia Newton-John and Russ Conway. They sang for TV commercials in the 1970s for products ranging from Dulux paint,
another super 3 that's riding high, Dulux Super 3 from ICI,
to Westminster Bank,
Make friends, make friends, make friends with Westminster. Westminster Bank is the friendliest you know.
The Mike Samms Singers stopped performing when Mike Samms died at the age of 73 in May 2001. The Summer Wine Trio and some of the other characters occasionally made appearances in other theatre and TV shows, such as the Royal Variety Performance in 1984 and Noel's House Party in 1992 and 1994. However, one of their guest spots for a Christmas special of the Val Doonican Show was recorded but never broadcast. The script was not written by Roy Clark, so the BBC head of entertainment was persuaded to ditch the sequence. The chassis of the fictitious Loxley Lozenge car is going to be Wesley's latest project. After rescuing it from a barn, the Loxley Lozenge is never seen again. Of course, it's quite possible Edie made him get rid of it. Restoration would have taken him years. Crusher was edited out of the original broadcast due to him appearing in episode 2 of series 8 that was broadcast later, where the script introduces him to the other characters for the first time. The artist painting the landscape is Ashley Jackson, who has an art gallery in Holmfirth. He's not an actor, but he was able to appear as he was carrying out the professional activities of his employment. The rooms either side of Nora's front door appear to be her living room on different occasions. In this episode, it is finally established that the kitchen is on the right. In this studio set, the sink is on the wall by the door, but in later episodes, it's at the window. Although this is the real kitchen, the sink and taps seen through the window on location in later episodes are a freestanding unit added for the show. Near the end of this episode, Compo is on the roof of Ogden Butterclough's runaway car and saves himself on the overhanging branch of a tree just before the car nosedives into a ditch. It was not luck that there was a tree in the right spot. It's a regular filming location, and that's the only time a tree is seen. It's a carefully constructed fake tree. Foggy claims he was known as the Hawk, a nickname that Clegg will suggest ironically for Billy Hardcastle in series 22. Ivy has just mopped the cafe floor and puts newspapers down, pointing out where Foggy should walk, just as Edie would do later to stop Wesley getting dirt on her kitchen floor. Nora is getting Wally to check he cannot hear her radio from outside. Wally says he can't hear anything. No, says Nora, and I bet she couldn't either. I've never in all my life been told my wireless is too loud. This was no doubt Roy Clark's reaction to finding out that one of the neighbours would play their radio with the windows open while the crew were trying to film. The first reaction had been to film a shot of Nora leaving the house with a sold sign outside, but eventually the BBC ended up paying for the neighbour to go on holiday for a week so filming could go on unhindered. When Wesley stops to pick up the trio, he has the radio playing on loud. The music is Pumping Iron from the 1981 album Sunburst, composed by Graham Prescott, who produces music for movies, television and advertising. Wesley is playing the same tune in the series 14 episode Who's Got Rhythm. When Compo is on top of Wesley's Land Rover, he can see Nora through her back bedroom window. This building backs onto Nora's. There are no windows at the rear of Nora's house. Seymour's home, first seen in this episode, was a derelict building when used for filming. The production crew painted the doors and window frames and added the pond. Clegg and Compo are introduced to Seymour Otterthwaite, but according to the prequel First of the Summer Wine, Seymour went to school with Clegg and Compo but lost touch when he went to grammar school. Roy Clark wrote First of the Summer Wine after Uncle of the Bride, and according to Alan Bell, who was not involved in the prequel show, the script was not checked for errors like the main show was. It was only anticipated Edie would feature in a few episodes, so Thora Hird was credited as a guest throughout her appearances. Rosemary Chamney plays the part of the postwoman. After Clegg innocently implies she might deliver to the wrong address, he says, "No offence intended, Rosemary." Compo can read racing form, calculate odds and bet on horses, but when the postwoman delivers his parcel, he signs for it with an X. Edie's kitchen is at the back of the property with a small yard. Edie often goes to the back kitchen door to call for Wesley. However, She's calling in the wrong direction and the workshop is too far away for Wesley to hear even her. In this episode, Seymour's intruder-proof entry phone has failed to work, so he and Clegg push Compo through the pantry window to open the front door. Compo yells "mind the catch" and falls in, and he then appears at the front door with a large slice of cake. There's a near identical scene 3 episodes later in Set the People Free. In the series 27 episode "Oh Look, Mitzi's Found Her Mummy," Truly, Clegg and Alvin push Howard through Clegg's back window. However, they're not as successful at getting the front door open. When Seymour is looking for the valve to inflate Compo's inner tube device, we see that Compo is wearing braces for the 3rd time. In Series 2 Episode 2 of Roy Clark's Still Open All Hours, Granville sells Gastric some inflatable underwear to improve his posture. This episode was written as Episode 5, but was the 7th episode broadcast in that series. Perhaps this was to avoid the 2 similar window scenes at Seymour's house being in consecutive episodes. The staircase in the studio set of the vicarage interior in this episode might look familiar. It was also used a year later, slightly reconfigured, in the Heidi High Series 9 episode Wedding Bells, first broadcast on the 23rd of January 1988 as part of the set for Dempster Hall. Seymour builds a powerful waste disposal unit for Edie. Edie's kitchen is at the back of the property, but at the end of the episode, when the unit goes into reverse and spits out rubbish, the exterior view shows the window at the front of the house next to the front porch being splattered. Thora Hird couldn't drive, so shots with the car moving were done with a towing rig or with a green screen background, or her stand-in Amy Shaw would drive. Thora Hird's stand-in also substituted for Thora walking when she became less mobile. Somehow, Howard has managed to get his transit van in the yard beside the house, which seems impossible as there is no access to the road from their yard. The van is never seen again after this episode, although Howard has another van in the Series 19 episode Nowhere in Particular. Compo says he has a ferret called Taffy. The ferret is not Welsh, but the man he bought it from was. We see inside Howard and Pearl's home for the first time since they moved. It bears little resemblance to the interior set that we will see in later episodes. Compo is seen wearing braces for the 4th time, however these might not be his, but could just have come with a suit he borrowed for the funeral from George Jones, the deceased.